There were these warning signs that none of us put together. But now when we look back, these were all there the freshman year. And it just breaks our heart that we couldn't put all those together.
I ran into a friend of William's, a classmate. He had not heard that William had passed. I said, he passed away from an accidental drug overdose. His words were, I just cannot believe this. He said, he seemed like such a good guy. And I, was just taken back. And I said, he was a good guy. He was a great guy. And this can happen to great guys. It happened to a great guy.
William was a good guy. He was a great guy. And I think that's a really important point to make, that this happens to anybody. And William was a great guy, and that doesn't mean that he's immune to the perils of addiction.
Parents and society as a whole need to realize that in today's world, in the technology that we have, the mobile technology, it's very common for young people to compartmentalize their life.
He really was everything that you would want in a son. I think that missing piece, he had just a bit of anxiety, and that was the connection that he had with alcohol and drugs. When he was first exposed to it, I perceived that he kind of made him in with the cool crowd and just took away a little of that anxiety. And it's just as it escalates from one thing's okay, then the next thing, he just came to the point then that he couldn't step away from it. But all the time, until the very end, totally managed being on an SEC sports team, in the Croft Institute and the Honors College, keeping up a high GPA, active in fraternity, had a girlfriend, it was just very, he really juggled a lot of balls for a while until he couldn't.
Institutions of higher education, whether that be Ole Miss or anywhere else, we continue to struggle with alcohol and other drugs. Students continue to struggle. Some of that is, mental health issues and the escalation of and identification of those issues. Some of it's the age range of these students. Some of it is the transition to college and dealing with freedom. Some of it's access to drugs. There are a lot of different variables that basically accumulate as students enter into the collegiate environment that we've continued to struggle with as institutions of higher education.
David has an obvious passion to prevent another family from going through what he and Kent and his surviving kids have gone through with William. So for the past year or so, I've been trying to help him succeed and help Ole Miss get proactive in setting up a program to intervene and identify kids, students who need help, and maybe remove some of the stigma that prevents many of them from asking for help.
Students today tell me we don't always know how to recognize when someone is struggling. And I think that's the real point of this center and why this is so needed. It's that education, frankly, that we as parents needed.
For me, we're family. We talk about that a lot, and families take care of one another. When I'm hearing this story and the passion from Kent and David about, what they went through, what the experience was for them and for William, it made sense that we needed to tell this story. We needed to talk about this more. So a good family talks about their problems and talks about the issues, and I felt that it was important that we deal with that more head on. And now we're gonna have this center with this name on it, and we'll be able to continue to tell that story over and over again in a way that students, I think, will identify with it. Then they're able to open up and talk to some peers about those challenges and have a center where they can go and engage with others and say, look, this is, of course this is a challenge. Let's talk about it and let's get you the support early versus, allowing you to continue to struggle and get into bigger issues.
The student wellness is so important, and alcohol and drug education is an important part of that. We have to put this out in the open and have this discussion to break that stigma so that these kind of conversations are comfortable. This is a step forward for the university to say, we care about our students and we want to be cutting edge nationally in how we care for them. That's a big moment.